Hello everyone, this is Kevin T. Rodriguez, film critic of iCritic.net, and before we begin this video, if you hear a chime in the video, I apologize. I really do. There was a situation with an Uber ride recently, and a lot of people on Facebook are basically inquiring if I'm okay, and Facebook is the way people do that. So, it's going to probably be chiming throughout this video, and I'm sorry for that. I don't know how to turn that off without turning the app off completely, and those chimes might be coming for a couple of days. It's kind of been driving me crazy, to be honest. But anyway, so aside from that, today we're going to be talking about VidAngel and the hashtag save filtering movement. And here's the thing. I've got a unique position on this because I'm a film critic. I write about movies. I believe in the director's vision. I believe in preserving the director's vision as best as you possibly can. I believe if the movie was shot in 3D, it needs to be released in 3D. If it was shot in black and white, you need to only have it in black and white. You can't colorize it like with It's a Wonderful Life, which doesn't work. I believe that if the director has made a movie with several different aspect ratios, you need to see the original aspect ratios. Netflix does not have the right to crop them. And if a filmmaker puts offensive content in his movies, I believe that is his right. That's why we have the rating system. It is so filmmakers can pretty much do whatever they want, provided that they're aware that if they go too far in this direction, they might get this kind of rating, and maybe they don't want that rating. Some people call that a de facto censorship thing. Personally, I'm okay with the Lego Batman movie not having any bad language in it so that they can get a PG rating, even though I think it honestly deserves a G. I've made several videos criticizing the MPAA for what I consider to be very, very inaccurate ratings and descriptions. I don't think they're doing a very good job. I don't think they have your interest at heart. I don't think they have my interest at heart. I think they only have the studio system's best interest at heart, where they will assign a rating to the studio for a certain movie that the studio wants because this is how much money they think having that rating can get them. And I personally believe that if you want to watch a movie and there's content in there that you are not comfortable with, I do believe you should watch another movie. That said, I also believe that when you buy a movie, you are free to tell your kids to close your eyes. I believe that if there's a scene you don't like, you can skip it. And I believe in parenting. I believe in parenting. You know what? I might love Saving Private Ryan. Does not mean my kids need to watch it. It's that simple. But Hollywood is making that stance of not altering the films at all to be a particularly difficult stance to have, because I have seen multiple movies that put in just little bits of bad content that's strong enough to get a higher rating that it does not need to sell to people. For example, what does The Queen, Arrival, The Artist, Best Picture winner, The Martian, and Gravity, what do all these movies have in common? The answer is that they're all rated PG-13. More specifically, they're all rated PG-13 for one reason. The F word is said once in all of them, except for this one. This is rated PG-13 because someone flips someone off for like half a second, which I think is a wild overreaction. If it wasn't for that flip off, this would be a G-rated movie. But these movies, they would all be either PG, or G if they didn't have the one use of the F word in there. With that information in mind, it makes it very hard to defend the stance that we do not need a filtering system. Like all of these movies, especially this one, I would show to my grandma if they didn't have that word in it, because she doesn't like that word. Well, okay, she's not around anymore, but she never liked that word. She didn't understand why people had to use it. These are movies where, maybe with the exception of The Martian, she would have probably liked all these movies. Except they had a single use of the F word in there. And there's a reason why they put the F word in there. And it's not because it has artistic integrity. It's because the PG-13 rating is the most profitable rating out of all the movies. And PG-13 movies are allowed one use of the F word. Now, this in and of itself wouldn't get filmmakers to normally use it, but by using it once, you're guaranteed the PG-13. There have been filmmakers that have told me very specifically that they are instructed to put an F word in almost all of the movies they make, because if the movie gets an R, they can cut the F word and they'll get their PG-13. And if they get their PG-13 from the get-go, they do not need to do anything else because they got the rating they want. And you know what? With the exception of maybe Arrival, which is this one, which I think might be a little too complicated for most kids. If I had kids, I would feel fine sharing all of these with them, with the exception of the fact that there's one use of the F word. Now, again, I own these movies uncut, and if it's just me, I will watch them uncut. Absolutely. But as I start thinking about this single use of the F word, which people have dubbed the F word creep, it started to dawn on me, maybe having a system where that one word can be bleeped out, because it usually goes by so fast you wouldn't even notice it got censored. Maybe this is not a bad thing. And that's where VidAngel came in. VidAngel did not edit movies themselves. They filtered movies. And the way they did it was they took every conceivable way that you could be offended by something, and they have filters so that you can take out what you do not want to see. This includes language, nudity, violence, Jar Jar Binks. No, seriously, you can cut Jar Jar Binks out of the prequel trilogy. How is this already not the greatest movie company in the world? And you can just, choose what you want to see. Now, I do think that has some limits. Like, for example, I don't think, like for these three movies, a service like VidAngel is very practical. This movie has way too much bad language and violence in it. I mean, I would like to actually watch this. I would like to see what a G-rated version of The Departed looks like. It probably wouldn't be very long, but I think it'd be interesting. It might even be funny too. Same thing with The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. This actually, now that I think about it, both these movies borderline on NC-17. So using a service like VidAngel is probably only going to do so much. This movie, it would be pointless to watch on VidAngel because it's not an R-rated movie, in my opinion. In my opinion, this is a PG-rated movie, with the exception of a guy getting shot a few times from a distance and a shot of Channing Tatum's buttocks in a non-sexual way. This is a PG movie. I don't know why it's rated R. No one who I've shown this to can honestly tell me why this is an R-rated movie. Maybe VidAngel could clue me in on what makes it R. I don't know. But for some movies, VidAngel is not going to be very practical. But you know what? If for some reason you want to try and watch The Departed with the family, VidAngel gives you a opportunity to do so, if you will. And they found a very clever way to do it legally. Now, I'm not going to explain what that legal way is because it's too long for this video. And we're already closing in on close to 10 minutes and all that jazz. And, I just can't explain it. They made videos. I'll link to some of the videos below so you can see what it is. It's weird, but it's legal. Well, the studios do not like it when people figure out a way around the system. So, of course, they sued VidAngel. Do they have a case? I personally do not believe they do have a case. I think they're just trying to bully them out of the competition, and I hope VidAngel wins. And here's the thing. Not only do they have a lot of money of their own to fight this all the way to the Supreme Court, but people like you and me have donated over $10 million to a legal defense fund, which shows that I think audiences in general are getting a little sick and tired of how Hollywood is padding their movies with content that serve no purpose other than to get a higher rating. And you don't need it. If anything, didn't Hidden Figures, recent movie, wonderful movie about female scientists at NASA. They also happen to be black. But in my opinion, it's the fact that there's female scientists at NASA. That is already a story worth telling. In any other universe, this movie would have had the F word spoken once to get a PG-13. They didn't. So the movie got a PG. Now here's the thing. PG-rated movies tend to be avoided by adult dramas because apparently adults won't go see them, and yet Hidden Figures is doing very good business at the box office. Everyone's seeing it, they're recommending their friends see it, they're taking their mom to see it. It's a well-done movie. You don't need that F word in there. But if the F word was in there, that would be one more reason for VidAngel. And it's ridiculous that the studios are fighting this. If the studios truly want to undercut something like VidAngel, all they have to do is present two different cuts of the movie on the Blu-ray. The PG-rated version and the uncut version. I don't think it would take up any more or less space on the disc. It'd probably be very easy to do. And, how would it hurt? How would it hurt? Obviously, I would always personally watch the uncut version. Heck, I go to a friend's house every week and show them movies. And if this was an option, with the exception of maybe some of these movies that cut the one use of the F word out, I would always pick the uncut version. I don't care. I want the original version. And you will always have people who just want the original version. But you have people who don't want to hear certain words, don't want to see certain things. Some people who just don't want to acknowledge that Jar Jar Binks exists or ever happened. I mean, that's the kind of thing that traumatizes you as a kid, seeing Jar Jar Binks. And it's frustrating that the studios are not on board with this. It is very, very frustrating. And it's clear the public is on board with it, and they are not, and no one's breaking any law. In fact, if anything, they're doing people a favor because, VidAngel is buying thousands of DVDs from the studios to do this just so that they can do it legally. And it's bothersome that the studios are bullying like this. So this video has 2 points. One, it's to show my support for safe filtering. Okay, actually that's 3 points now that I think about it. The second point is to explain why I support filtering, even though I don't necessarily support censorship. I don't want it to get to the point where we're having 2 versions of the movie in theaters. I think that'd be going way too far. VidAngel would definitely be the compromise. Here's the third reason, though. I do think there's one thing in this case that could kill VidAngel, and I at least want to throw it out there for their legal team to listen to, and maybe they might want to look at it because maybe if they change this, they could win their case. I don't know. It's just something I've thought of. If there is one problem to VidAngel is that it is a filtering service so much that you can't just rent the movies. You have to use a filter option, which means one way or the other, someone has to take something out that they might personally not have a problem seeing. In fact, some people would even argue that VidAngel might be a bigger service if it could be sold like on a $1 or $2 rental system instead of a filtering system. Now, VidAngel's stance has always been, we're a niche product, we don't mind being a niche product, and we're okay with that. And you know what? I'm okay with that stance too. I am absolutely okay with that stance. But when you force people to use one of the filters for anything you rent, now the Hollywood studio system can make the claim that you are dictating how people watch the movies. And even though I know a lot of people circumvent this by simply checking the end credits, because for some reason one of the filters is you don't have to watch the end credits, because those were always clearly offensive, right? I still have a problem with that because what about movies like the Lego Batman movie where there's like a music video during the credits? What about some of the Pixar movies where there's bloopers during the credits? What about the credits for No Country for Old Men or The Hateful Eight, where you need the credits to be there just so that you can have a moment to sit and ponder what you just watched? So even though that's a good way to circumvent the whole issue, where you can rent the movie, watch it uncut, and get away with it, I think by forcing a filter on viewers, that could hurt your case. So if there's one thing I encourage VidAngel to do, it would be to definitely change the option so that you don't have to filter something. Make it so that if people want to rent the movie and watch it completely the way it was made, and they just want to do it through you guys because it's cheaper, then let them do it. That's my opinion. That's the one thing I think, there's a chime, that can come back to bite them. Otherwise, I do like the service. I like the idea. I personally will not be using it very much, if only because, again, I want to see the original vision. That's how it is. But I do want it to be around because there are some PG-13 rated movies that I would, in theory, like to show my kids, but I can't because there's that one use of the F word, or maybe there's that one booty shot. And in that case, you know what? Maybe we can do this a little bit. I mean, it's really hard to say no to a kid, and as a kid who was brought up with very, very, very strict viewing rules, I understand why it's torture when everyone else can watch something but you can't for some reason. So, I don't know. That's my 2 cents. What do you think of VidAngel? Have any of you used it? Do you like it? Do you not like it? I would like to know. Comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.